Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a really ancient journey right into the heart of a foundational piece of wisdom, the Khuddakapāṭha Ratanasutta.
That's right.
Now, for you listening, our mission is basically to unpack these excerpts, understand what they really mean, their profound meaning, and pull out those surprising nuggets of knowledge.
Yeah, the jewels.
Exactly, the jewels. Think of it like that. It's a shortcut, really, to getting well-informed about a pretty significant spiritual tradition.
And just to give a little bit of context here, the Ratanasutta, it's very well known in the Buddhist tradition.
Okay.
It's often recited, for protection, for blessing, and it really praises what are called the three jewels.
The three jewels, right.
The Buddha, the Dhamma, that's his teachings, and the Sangha, which is the community. And we're going to sort of dive into how this sutta really illuminates each of them.
Okay, let's do that. Let's maybe start with something that might ring a bell for some people. The Noble Truths.
Core concept.
Yeah. One of the verses mentions, and I'm sort of paraphrasing from the Pali here, those who understand the Noble Truths. The actual text is, Ye aryasakani vibhavayantiti. What's going on with that specific word, vibhavayantiti? How does it describe grasping these truths?
That's a great question, actually, because it really gets to the heart of it. So the Four Noble Truths, suffering, its origin, its end, and the path, they're absolutely foundational, as you said.
Right.
But vibhavayantiti, it's not just about, intellectually getting it or believing it.
Okay.
It suggests something deeper, a profound seeing or discerning of these truths. It's shown here as like the essential first step towards liberation.
So a direct seeing.
Exactly. A direct personal realization, like you're peeling back the layers and seeing how things actually work.
That's a really key distinction, isn't it? Not just knowing about it, but really discerning it. Okay, so then the sutta uses some really vivid imagery, I thought, to describe the Dhamma, the teachings.
Oh, yeah, beautiful.
It says, Vannapagumbe yatafusitage gimhanamase bamasmesipa amavaradesai nebanagame parmahitaya. It compares it to a forest grove, like bursting with new growth at the tips.
In early summer.
In the first month of summer, yeah. And says the teaching leads to Nibbana for ultimate benefit. What makes that analogy so powerful for understanding the Dhamma?
Well, it's just a beautiful simile, first off. It really captures the freshness of the Dhamma, its vibrancy, its perfect timing.
Right, the timeliness.
Yeah, imagine, that dry period ending and then suddenly this lush bloom.
Yeah.
The Dhamma is presented like it's something bringing new life, new understanding, new growth right when it's needed most.
Yeah.
And crucially, the mention of Nibbana,
right,
beyond just, say, lasting peace. Nibbana is the ultimate goal here. It signifies the complete extinguishing of the fuel, you could say.
The fuel.
Yeah, the craving, the clinging, the things that keep suffering going. It's not someplace you go after you die. It's a radical internal shift that can happen right now, a total stopping of that agitation that often defines our lives.
Wow, connecting that vibrant bloom with the cessation of suffering's fuel, that really adds depth. Okay, so after describing the teaching so powerfully, the sutta turns to the Buddha himself and uses this series of, really striking terms. Bharavaranyu, Varado, Varado, Anutoro, Dhammavara, Adesai. He's called the excellent one, the knower of excellence, the giver, the bringer of excellence, the unsurpassed one who taught this excellent Dhamma, all this repetition of excellence. What does that tell us about the reverence for the Buddha here?
It's incredibly telling, isn't it? It really hammers home the immense reverence, the profound respect for the Buddha, not just as, some guy from history, but as the supreme discoverer and teacher of this path, the ultimate source of this wisdom, someone who not only found the truth, but was uniquely able to guide others to it. It really stresses his unparalleled role.
Unparalleled, yeah. Okay, now this next part really goes deep into the state of those who've actually achieved this goal, this Nibbana.
Yes, this is fascinating.
The text says, Kirpura nati samhava virata shiteyatika basmite fitabuja aviruichana nibante tera yatayampatipo. It talks about the old being exhausted, no new arising, minds detached from future existence.
Detachment.
And then, crucially, those whose seeds are destroyed, whose cravings do not grow, the wise attain Nibbana like this lamp.
That image of the lamp going out, Yatayampatipo, it's so vivid. Does Nibbana mean like annihilation? Or is there a different way to understand that extinguishing?
Yeah, that's a really important point, and honestly, a common misunderstanding.
Right.
When it talks about seeds destroyed and craving not growing, it means the end of that cycle of suffering, the cycle that's kept going by those very roots, craving and ignorance.
Got it.
So the lamp, simile, it's not about wiping out a self, it's about the fuel running out.
Ah, the fuel again. Exactly. The fuel that keeps the flame of suffering, burning the desires, attachments, all the defilements. That's what gets extinguished. So it's the final, peaceful, utterly calm state where all that agitation has just ceased. It's liberation from suffering, not wiping out existence.
Okay, that clarifies it beautifully. It's the fuel, not the lamp itself. Okay, so finally, the text wraps up with these really powerful salutations. It repeats this phrase, Yanetapetani samagatani bhumani vayaniva antalikitatakatata devamanusapujita. And then gives specific salutes to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. It's saying, whatever beings are here, on earth or in the sky, we salute the Tathagata, honored by gods and humans. What's the significance of including all beings, earth and sky? And maybe who is the Tathagata?
Right. Well, what's fascinating is how these verses really bring it all together, underscoring that universal reverence for the three jewels we mentioned earlier.
Right, the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha.
Exactly. And Tathagata, that's another very profound, very esteemed title for the Buddha himself.
Yeah.
It often means something like one who has thus come, or one who has thus gone, someone who has realized the ultimate truth.
Okay.
So these salutations, by including everyone, terrestrial, celestial, they're highlighting that this wisdom, the Buddhas, the Dhammas, the Sanghas, it's seen as transcending just human concern.
Ah, universal.
Yeah, it's a huge affirmation of the path, the community, welcoming all beings, basically.
Yeah.
To acknowledge this profound source of wisdom and, well-being, kind of frames it as worthy of cosmic respect.
Cosmic respect, I like that.
Right.
Okay, so wrapping this up then, what does this all mean for you listening at home beyond just, understanding an ancient text?
Right.
This whole deep dive, especially those images, the seeds destroyed, the craving not growing.
Indeed. I mean, most of us probably aren't aiming for Nibbana in that full traditional sense day to day. But the text kind of invites us to think, doesn't it? What are the seeds in our lives? Those unhelpful habits, maybe persistent worries, those subtle little cravings we all have. What are the things that, if we really understood them, really addressed them, could lead us to our own kind of personal peace or clarity or liberation? A bit like that lamp simile. It's about spotting the sources of our own internal static,
That's a really powerful way to bring it home. Looking inward for those seeds that makes this ancient wisdom feel very relevant, actually.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the Ratanasutta. We really encourage you to maybe ponder that question. What seeds might you want to identify, maybe even transform in your own journey toward knowledge and well-being?
All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really fascinating ancient text called the Ratanasutta, which translates to the Jewel Discourse. Now, this is considered one of the most powerful protective chants in the entire Buddhist tradition, and we're going to unpack the core belief that gives it all its power.
So, right off the bat, you need to know this isn't just some dusty old scripture you read silently to yourself. For centuries, the Ratanasutta has been chanted out loud. The idea is that the very act of reciting it creates a kind of sacred space, pushing away fear and sickness and welcoming in blessings and just general well-being. It's almost like a form of spiritual technology.
The whole text is actually built around this one single powerful line that gets repeated over and over again, kind of like the chorus of a really powerful song. By this truth, may there be well-being. So the blessing, the protection, all of it hinges on declaring a very specific truth.
And that, of course, is the million-dollar question, isn't it? What is this profound truth that supposedly holds the power to create well-being? See, the text isn't just asking for a blessing. It's making a powerful claim. It's saying, hey, because this thing over here is absolutely true, may good things happen. So, let's find out what this thing is. Okay, so the text reveals that this truth actually refers to the incredible qualities of what are known as the three jewels of Buddhism. And the very first jewel, the first profound truth that the chant relies on, is the Buddha himself.
So, when the sutta talks about the Buddha, it's not just referencing a historical guy. It's invoking the very idea of enlightenment. A being who has totally woken up and sees reality exactly as it is without any confusion. This state of awakening,
That's the first truth. And to really nail down just how supreme the Buddha is, the text uses this beautiful, almost poetic Pali verse. It doesn't just say he was a good teacher. No, it just piles on these incredibly potent, powerful descriptions to show that he is completely unsurpassed. And this is what those words really mean. He is the excellent one. He knows what is excellent. He gives what is excellent, and he brings what is excellent. In every possible way you can think of, he is linked to the ultimate good. So the first truth is this: there is no teacher superior to the Buddha, period. By this truth, may there be well-being. All right, so if the first truth is about the incredible quality of the teacher, it only makes sense that the second jewel is about the quality of what he taught, right? And that's the Dhamma.
So the Dhamma is essentially the roadmap. It's the universal law, the teachings that the Buddha found and then shared with the world. You can think of it as the how-to guide for reaching the same state he did, the path to ending all suffering and reaching that ultimate peace of Nibbana.
Now, to describe this teaching, the sutta doesn't use a bunch of dry, intellectual language. Instead, it paints this really vivid and beautiful picture for us, a metaphor that gets right to its essence.
The Dhamma is compared to a forest grove that suddenly just bursts into flower at the very beginning of summer. It's presented as something beautiful, something totally natural, and something with a very clear, direct purpose. It leads you straight to Nibbana. So the second truth is this: this teaching is the supreme path. By this truth, may there be well-being.
Which, of course, brings us to the third and final jewel. We've had the teacher, and we've had the teaching. So what's missing? The proof. And that's the Sangha, the community of enlightened disciples. And this is so crucial. The Sangha isn't just a fan club. These are the people who actually walked the path the Buddha laid out and have seen its truth for themselves. They are the living, breathing evidence that the teaching actually works.
So how does the text describe what it's like to be one of these enlightened people? Well, this verse gets right to the heart of what they've accomplished, and it does it by focusing on their relationship to the past and the future. It's really interesting.
The key here is how their whole relationship with time has been totally rewired. For the past, it says the old is destroyed. Think of it like all their old karmic baggage, it's just gone, wiped clean. And for the future, the new has no arising. Because their minds are free, no new karmic seeds are being planted. They have literally stepped off the wheel of cause and effect. So, if they've broken that cycle, what happens at the end of their life? The text gives us this final, incredibly potent metaphor. It says, the wise are extinguished, just like this lamp.
Now that word extinguished might sound a little negative, but it's not. It's describing Nibbana. It's like a lamp flame going out, not because it was violently snuffed out, but simply because the fuel and the wick are all used up. The fuel of craving and karma is completely gone. And that is the third truth. This community is the supreme place to cultivate goodness. By this truth, may there be well-being.
Okay, so after laying out the profound truth of these three jewels, the whole focus of the chant shifts. It turns outward. It uses the power of that established truth to send out a call for reverence and blessing.
The chant now starts addressing all beings, the visible and the invisible, human and non-human, whether they're here on the earth or up in the sky. It's this huge, all-encompassing invitation, gathering everyone into a single, shared space of respect.
And so, with that foundation of truth all laid out, the final verses call for action. First, a call to pay homage to the Buddha, the teacher who is revered by gods and humans alike.
Then, to pay homage to the Dhamma, that perfect teaching, and finally, to pay homage to the Sangha, that supreme community. You can feel how it builds, can't you? It's a unified, rising chorus of respect, all born from the truths that were just established.
And that brings us right back to where we started. The power of the Ratanasutta isn't about wishful thinking. It's grounded in a deep, unshakable confidence. The truth that brings well-being is the real, verifiable, and supreme nature of the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. The blessing is just the natural result of recognizing and declaring that truth out loud.
So I leave you with this to think about. The Ratanasutta is clearly more than just a chant or a prayer. It's a statement of deep conviction, and it suggests that there is a real creative power
in identifying what we hold to be fundamentally true and then declaring it with confidence. It's a fascinating idea to reflect on. What, in our own lives, might begin to change if we did the same? Thanks for watching.